So they're targeting us black foreigners to punch and stuff. They hire black Americans. There were people sleeping here. And I was saying, all of a sudden I felt somebody hit me in the head, punch me in the head, and ran towards the Staten Island ferry, and there were some people screaming and laughing. So I was the only one targeted. The first was the Statue of Liberty workers, whatever they call those ones that solicit ticket, that they were using, but the camera here will pick it up. So they're engaging in ethnic violence, attacking us black immigrants. I don't know any of these people. So when I go to the bathroom also, they follow me with their some of the people, some of the homeless people that sit here, follow me to the bathroom to mock me inside the bathroom. Like there's a white woman that they used to mock, and she walks around with a black male, I think it's her boyfriend. So they're targeting me with violence. So these are like hired assassins. They're trying to cover something up, and as soon as I came to sit down, I saw like a bunch of black people with their child came and sat close to me, and then they got up and left. I didn't understand why they chose me in particular to sit close to. So I'm being mobbed, and I believe this is about inheritance scam. Just like my mother's daughters killed her for money. My mother said her daughters, as soon as my mother said her daughters were very jealous. Bolanle and Flora, and the other one in Nigeria, Funke. As soon as me and my mother were suing the police for taking her home on Staten Island, I said, they were trying to get my mother killed, and eventually, so one of them, Bolanle, was feeding my mother car antifreeze poison in her food, which was triggering my mother to want to have a heart attack. So my mother fled to New York, and the daughters followed her. To New York, the daughters, Bolanle and Flora, and was feigning maintenance on my mother, so was getting treated for the heart attack, in the Bellevue Hospital, and killed my mother and stole all her property. And my mother said her daughter, that Bolanle, is into drugs and into gangs. So I believe, the police thing is better off, because my mother was criticizing this police heavy. She was a naturalized U.S. citizen, called them a terrorist. So I think that the police are happy with the way the daughters killed her, and they want me killed also. Even Eric Grant that was helping me and my mother with the lawsuit is been killed also. So they're allowing revenge killing, because out of all the people here, they didn't bother nobody else. Why should anybody be punching me in the middle of the night? If they're going to be punching people sleeping, they should have been punching everybody else. So I was the only one they were punching. So and when I've already contacted the New York City Department of Transportation, saying, look, I'm being targeted. When I try to use the bathroom, they quickly go and lock up the extra bathroom and create a stampede, so as to encourage violence against me. Anytime I try to use the bathroom, as soon as I'm coming, they'll quickly go and lock up the extra bathroom. That's it, extra bathroom session, and then create a stampede, so people can be waiting, in line and can't find an open bathroom to use, just to create violence. And they have some people that specifically target me for violence. So they are running this place like a mafia. I criticize the mayor here also, and while Trump, asked the court to free him for a bribery case, whereby they said he was being bribed. The mayor, Eric Adam, was being bribed by Turkish government for a building in Manhattan, the embassy, that was a fire hazard, and he used this connection to bypass the fires department requirement that building couldn't meet, and they approved that building for to be open, even though they were supposed, it didn't meet the requirement. And while the case was going on, Eric Adam was arrested last year, and the case was going on. Trump became president this year and told them to dismiss the case, and I emailed the judge, tell them not to do that, that this Eric Adam, under his mayorship, I've been getting punched. This is not the only time. As soon as he won the mayorship in 2000 and I believe 20 December 2021, some kids attacked me in Brooklyn. And then there's a black American basketball player. It was daytime in Brooklyn around December, at the Atlantic Avenue Stadium, Barclays, and I was trying to connect my cell phone to the phone. I just bought a cell phone. I was trying to connect it, to activate the phone line. All of a sudden, while I was talking on the phone, using the phone booth to talk with the service provider, all of a sudden I was getting hit from behind by little kids, and I ran across the street to go inside the store. Those kids came with metal pipes. I didn't even understand why they were beating me up. And the white guy called 911. I said, there's a bunch of kids beating up a black immigrant, me, in December 2021. And the police came. The police said, they're not going to investigate nothing. Those kids should go home. And they told me to go home. And they said they're not going to give a police report. Even the white guy said those kids damaged the store. He doesn't understand why the violence, and the police helped cover it up. And then there's this basketball player called Damian Lillard. He started saying, he started posting stuff on Instagram to mock me. He posted something in particular saying, "Congratulations, Thunder Leg," to a female basketball player. Those kids were a bunch of female kids, and we're not supposed to be all kicking me with their leg, and I didn't understand why, but my mother said her daughter Bolani likes to kick people with her leg. She injured somebody, there was a white family she was staying with, because when my mother took her to Nigeria in 1988, she would beat up my mother. So she said she doesn't want to live in Nigeria. She was like 14 then. So my mother arranged with a white family in Pennsylvania to be guardian to her, and the other daughter, sister Flora. But as soon as they came back to America, by 1990, they beat up the white family. They had to put them in juvenile detention in Pennsylvania. Within a year of them arriving in America. This Bolani and Flora. So I was told, so my mother said, "I don't like to kick people. She learned it, like karate in school when she was living in the Bronx. So a bunch of females, young kids around that age at the time that she was arrested in Pennsylvania, like kids like 15 years old, 14 years old, 16, started kicking me after my mother is dead, 2021, and Erica Adams was announced the winner of the mayorship election. And I called 911 as I was running. I was calling 911. The other people have been calling 911, and the police wouldn't give a report. So they've turned into a place of violence, whereby, so I believe this Bolani, they hope, if I get killed, they can get the money for this Bolani, because I don't have any child, I don't have any spouse. So they say your next of kin would be your sibling. My mother is dead, my father is dead. So they're having all these black gangs, white and all these people are trying to attack the police. They can cover up the killing. So I just got hit in the head. I was the only one targeted. There were other homeless people. So they're using white, blacks, everybody to hit me. Anywhere I'm at. There's a police camera here that will pick it up. Daytime, nighttime. I came here to use the bathroom and I felt so tired. So I fell asleep, So I believe, that, this camera will pick it up. And when I call the police, they will make me wait all night and they won't help me with nothing. So I believe they just want to kill me. There are other people here sleeping. I'm the only one that got hit in the head. So they're having all these gangs, they deploy. They want to make it look like a, if I should die, they just want to make it look like a random act of violence. And I've been contacting the police commissioner, telling them I'm being targeted as a black immigrant. That police commissioner doesn't respond to me. So they believe they can kill me and claim, the police left me homeless for too long. We'll just give all the money to that, to any family I have, and that family will share it with the gang for helping kill me. So they believe, they say this country has a particular interest in killing civil rights activists, My mother was a civil activist. I'm a civil activist. They've killed people like what's his name again? I was sleeping when they hit me in the head. They always hit me in the head. They say witness. People try to make witness have head injury, so they'll forget everything. Martin Luther King. Today's my birthday. Today's July 7, 2025. Tomorrow is going to be my birthday. It's around 11 p.m. already. So they don't want to see me live another day. So I believe it's my mother's daughter's gang, Bolanle's gang, that came to hit me in the head. And there is a particular basketball player, Damian Lillard. He works for Nike. Nike also has been putting ads saying scary good, in the subway. And scaring me, that this Nike hired international soccer players like Kylian Mbappe, to have a Halloween face on the subway, number 2 train, put a picture that says scary good. I took a video of that like 2 days ago. So they're performing like on Halloween. They said this Nike also has problems with Africans. Every Africans will counterfeit their products and they sell it worldwide. So I believe, that there's also a white corporation connection to this. So not just their police that may want me dead, but in particular this Nike may want me dead also. Because why would they be hiring people that will be mocking, like the time I got kicked in the leg, and a basketball player that Nike sponsors, I believe the sponsor is Damian Lillard, and it was saying then he posted a message to Instagram, say congratulations Thunder Leg. At that time I was using a Thunder VPN because people were hacking into my phone, stealing all my important videos. So I was using a Thunder VPN, to try to block the hackers. So when they coined that phrase, congratulations Thunder Leg, that's not a real English, So they said criminals will try to mock victims by, just using codes that only the victim would understand. So after I got kicked in 2021, as soon as I got become mayor, some black American females started kicking me in the leg. In the daytime, when I ran towards the store owner called 911, so the damage is store, and the store owner says it needs police report to give to the insurance company, and the police won't give a police report. So I believe that some of the people in the know, these gangs know this Eric Adam is the best corrupt person to commit crime, murder under. That as a mayor, it will help them cover it up. And as soon as he became mayor, also Biden ordered him arrested. So they've been watching him with the FBI. So he's been collecting bribes from foreigners like the Turkish government to approve a building. So I just got punched in the head, and they didn't punch nobody else. Everybody's fast asleep. But the person that punched me, it looked like it might be a black male. He started running and laughing. It looked like it might be a young black male, a teenager. So they're hiring little kids, teenagers, to gang violence, and the police commissioner here, I send them videos all the time. They don't respond back to me. So I guess that's the birthday present. I was born July 8, 1981, and today is July 7, 2025. It's around 11 p.m. now. So that's their birthday present. They didn't punch nobody else. But the person that punched me, the camera will pick it up. The person ran towards the ferry. And in the past, when I tried to make a police report, they wouldn't help me. I just got punched. Did you get punched also? Did you see the person?
No, make it just see our face.
Okay. No, it's very important. It's a crime. A crime just occurred. Why you may be worried about your face. So they didn't punch nobody else. So they hire people, to attack me and stuff. And I guess, why they will be hiring people to punch also, they're also trying to cover up. I know I shouldn't be sleeping out here, So I think they're worried about when they eventually kill me, they don't want other people to sue. That, that person was a nuisance, other people could try to sue. And, and that could open up the canker one. How did this person really die? So this is why they're hiring people to scare me away, to find the perfect way to kill me. They also try to get people to lure me to come into their house to just look like I accidentally died in the house. I'm like, no. For some, I'm a transsexual. I'm not into women. But there was a time they bring, even women to try to lure me. I'm like, no, I'm not a prostitute. I'm not looking to go to nobody's house. So they're just looking for the most perfect way to kill me. And most definitely, they don't want me to have any I don't know what to call it. Any to leave any trail behind. So that is why they're very, active. Anytime I'm near any camera, they will punch me to scare me away from that camera. Because they don't want nobody to claim, we accidentally bump into this person while they were sleeping, and they should have been sleeping on the chair. We broke a leg. We want to sue the estate. So they're very worried that people that are aware that my mother's daughter, Bolanle and Flora, and possibly the one in Nigeria, Funke, may want to kill me and give the money to their gang members. And but so I knowing, if they said, people, when you die and you don't have nobody to fight for, I don't have a child, I don't have any loving family member. They said, nobody's going to question nothing. And they believe this police department won't question nothing. They say a lot of blacks that die, this NYPD doesn't investigate it. Even the black Americans that die. There was one called, I don't know, I don't want to say the wrong name. Run DMC, I think one of the band members was a popular rapper. And they said people knew who killed him. Somebody brought a gun and boom, 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 shoot him. And the person's been having beef with, him and the person was selling drugs together, and the person was threatening this guy. Was a rapper with Run DMC, I would think, or something like that. It was a member of a popular rap group. And so for 12 years, people were telling the NYPD who killed this guy in Queens, and the NYPD didn't arrest the guy. Until I started talking about the police are so corrupt in New York, they're not investigating murders. That's when they went and arrested the guy that, 12 years later, even they said the guy that brought a gun and boom, 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 shoot this rapper dead in Queens, in front of other people. There were witnesses that saw it, and the police wouldn't go and arrest him. Until 12 years later, until I started talking about, the police in New York is so corrupt. I was trying to tell them there's a lot of rappers that have been killed, and they're not investigating properly. And that is when they said they went and arrested the guy 12 years late, even though, so that just gives you an example that even people shoot with a gun, this NYPD will try to cover with allegedly against the rapper. So I believe this gang just are looking for the most perfect way to kill me. So nobody will claim blood spilled on them, and they want to sue and find out, why did I get killed and stuff. So they always send these gang members to punch me, chase me away from any camera I'm near, or even when I'm not near camera, just to find the most perfect way. I believe the most perfect way they believe they can kill me is to try to lure me inside, or claim I'm crazy, and have the police mistakenly, claim they want to take me to the hospital, and I resisted, and they choked me dead, or lure me inside somewhere, and even my mother's daughter. My mother said I should stay away from that daughter. At some point she was sending me a picture that she has a what is that thing called? She was just demeaning me. She was saying she had like a car garage or a storage. She built a shed, a wooden shed in front of her house. She has a whole house. At that time, she was unmarried. She doesn't have a child. She has a whole house that my mother was living with her in the house until she killed my mother. So she used to send me a picture that, if I'm looking for a place to stay, she said she built a wooden shed where she's keeping, things my mother left in the house. You know, so she doesn't really want it in the house, so she put all my mother's stuff. As soon as she killed my mother, so she moved all my mother's stuff out of the house because it may be infected with something, I don't know. You know, and she was so demeaning to my dead mother, so she moved all my. As soon as she killed my mother in Pittsburgh, you know, poisoned my mother ran to New York and died. And she said, you know, she put all my mother's belongings outside. It should be the wooden shed. And she was telling me if I want to live in that wooden shed next to my mother's stuff, it's okay. I said, no, I'd rather be on the street. You know, so my mother's stuff is not even worth being in your house. And as soon as she killed my mother, she moved all my mother's stuff outside into a wooden shed. Okay? You know, so they turn this, you know, FIFA, this place is not safe. They're killing people like crazy. I've been sending video to the police commissioner, and FIFA, you need to get that police commissioner to assure you that, you know, they're investigating, which I'm sure they're not. You know, or please cancel that walk-up temporarily, because this is very demeaning. You know, so in case I get killed, no family member or friend should be able to inherit on my property. Only activists like me, they haven't denied me up in the past, can take over, administer my state, and get justice for me and my dead mother, and give the rest of the money to people suffering xenophobia like me. So I'm not even going to bother to, you know, the police don't always help me. So I'm going to file a complaint with the Department of, you know, investigation, you know, because I've been getting attacked, and the police always give me a cold shoulder anytime I just got punched here as a Nigerian. So they're targeting blacks, you know, and anytime I call the police, they don't help me. I've been attacked several times here. I call the police don't help me. You know, so as a birthday gift, I just got punched, and I'm sure the guy that punched me ran, and any of these police cameras would have picked it up. You know. So this is what is going on. So I guess that's the birthday present to me. You know. But I thought it was a little safe because there was other people laying down, sitting, sleeping. So, and I just used the bathroom. I have diarrhea. So I felt, you know, let me just, you know, I was so tired. You know. So I was like, let me just sit down for a while. And they sent someone to punch me. So I believe, you know, they don't want me to leave any trail behind. So would they eventually kill me? Because they're afraid me just sleeping around, other people can make up claims also. And this is what they're worried about and trace their killing. So, you know, because when they sue your estate, they would be able to present evidence of anything. Else, the people suing may have found, so they may uncover evidence that was purposefully killed or whatever, as an inheritance scam. So this is my diarrhea medicine, you know. So I had to take some of it, and because I was having diarrhea and I was tired. I have anemia, so I was tired, and I saw other people laying, you know, sitting down, sleeping, and it was only me the punch. And the guy, you know, the cameras, there are multiple cameras that will pick it up. This time for Manhattan Terminal. So it's like a birthday one. So this is a society whereby they're allowed to terrorize foreigners, especially us Africans. Our life don't matter, and the black lives in general don't matter. So even in prison, they allowed the blacks to beat each other to death, kill each other. I said New York is the place. If you're black, want to kill your fellow black, like my mother's daughter followed my mother from Pennsylvania and killed her. They said New York is the place. Told the police to lock her. Told the hospital Bellevue to lock her up in the psych ward. Said New York is the place. So if I keep that in mind, and with this Trump doing immigration raid, blacks stand no chance. Black immigrants stand no chance. So if you don't investigate this and you're blindly walking people into this, history wouldn't forgive you, FIFA. You know, because they're not just, you know, beating us, foreigners to death, like my mother. They're robbing us. My mother said her daughter was stealing everything from her, and even the daughter got tired of stealing. After my mother died, that daughter blindly sent me a text message, you know, on Facebook or something. Said, you know, she's moved all my mother's stuff from the house now that she's dead. Built a wooden shed because my mother's stuff had been infected with the bugs or whatever. So built a wooden shed and left everything outside. So if I want to come here and stay in the wooden shed with my mother's stuff, I'm more than welcome to be outside with my mother's stuff. I said, oh wow. So I've been getting punched and hit. So that is the mindset of a killer. You know, when your mother's life is nothing, and you know, after you rob and steal, you consider the rest of our stuff garbage. Okay, so this is what this police wants for the blacks. So they're punching us black. My mother's daughters killed her also. They said the police will investigate nothing. Especially when they said Eric Adam. There was a time that as soon as Eric Adam won the mayor 2021, they chased me in the open street across the street from the NBA basketball stadium called the Nets, Atlantic Avenue. There's a multiple lane car, the car drive by, multi lane car, street. And so soon after that, there's a guy that was killed this year, Michael Hernandez, around that neighborhood also. So even after that, those kids chased me in 2021, December, tried to get me hit by car, they were kicking me. And I called the police. The guy I ran to his store, the white guy, called the police, and the police wouldn't give a police report. Soon after that, they were sending more kids to punch me around that neighborhood, and I called the police wouldn't help me. Even the police would make fun of me. So you were sleeping and somebody punched you, it means you're crazy. And, are you on medication? How would you know someone punched you when you're sleeping? I said, excuse me? I felt pain. And, they said a guy was also sitting down, maybe sleeping. Michael Hernandez this year, and some young people surrounded him and stabbed him to death, beat him to death. So they're using gangs. Michael, it says his mother is saying she wants justice. So these police don't care. They don't want to, tell this. So I believe this gang, the ones that killed Michael Hernandez will be connected to my mother's daughter's gang. And they need to investigate the role of this Nike in sponsoring, this gang. There's this Michael, there's this Damon Lillard that's been, inciting violence against me also. I don't know, what he hopes to gain from it. As soon as I got kicked by a bunch of females in 2021, he posted on Instagram saying, congratulations, Thunderleg. He coined that phrase, Thunderleg. That's not the real American English. I was using Thunder VPN then. And it was acting like it was congratulating a female basketball player. So they say it's into rap. I think there's a rap called drill. If you're a rapper and you're into violence, I guess killing foreigners, you get more street cred. That's how you can make it to the top of the rap list. I guess this one possible way to explain it. Maybe this basketball player / rapper may have seen me as a vulnerable target and maybe wants me killed to boost his own rap career. Especially the some black Americans don't like Africans. So if you can kill an African and even the case doesn't get resolved, I guess that would boost your street cred. So FIFA, this is the terror we're facing, and a lot of foreigners won't just speak out. Because this Trump said they should be targeting foreigners, looking into their social media accounts and be deporting foreigners to African countries that you're not even from. Like, I don't know the name of this country that is once, I can't remember the name. I believe one of them is South Sudan. I was just reading in the newspaper in the library today, July 7, 2025, that there was a group, that filed a lawsuit and they lost. They can't be deporting people to South Sudan. South Sudan is on the verge. It's a war. There's war going on, but the Supreme Court here, said Trump can deport anybody to the wrong country. They don't care. So anytime I read a bad news like that, I'm also under FBI surveillance. My mother brought me in 2000 July, and the immigration arrested me even though I had a green card, stuck my passport. So I've been under watch from the immigration, the FBI, because as soon as the immigration arrested me in July 2000, they sent my picture to the FBI. So I was in the immigration prison for a while before I came out. So I'm under the FBI. So they said this country also deploys satellite camera, the one they used to be watching Osama bin Laden. Obama confessed that they were watching Osama bin Laden for years, even though they were lying to the world that they don't know where Osama bin Laden is. They said they knew he was in Pakistan jungle hiding in an uncompleted building. So they were watching him for years before they sent in snipers to go kill him. So I believe they're using this kind of satellite technology on me. They said they've deployed the military to be assisting their police and immigration. So I guess when I was reading that newspaper in the library, saying a legal organization filed a law, try to prevent the deportation of immigrants to South Sudan, especially immigrants that are not even from South Sudan, because that country is at war. And the Supreme Court said no, Trump can deport anybody to the wrong country. They don't care either. So anytime I read bad news like that, this rally, I believe some of the FBI may be snitching to all these gangs. They said, even Martin Luther King, they found that the FBI was involved in hiring the assassin that killed that Martin Luther King. But his family couldn't sue early because they didn't get information, so they could only give him $100. They used the North Carolina law that allows you to sue late, because they said part of the plan to kill Martin Luther King was to hatch in North Carolina. But they could only get $100 because that law doesn't allow you to sue for more than $100. So this is what it's going to say. I just got my birthday present with a punch me in the head. So, the International Criminal Court wouldn't help me either. They could refer me to United Nations, to help me investigate all what is happening. My passport has been stolen, my green card has been stolen. Part of my immigration document. When my mother's daughters killed my mother, they stole my immigration documents also, because my mother was holding some of my immigration documents for me. So I'm a victim of human trafficking. I don't have any immigration document to prove my status. I don't have any valid photo ID at the moment. So it's very hard for me. This country owes me a tax refund of $3,000 since 2021, and they told me I have to come to the IRS office with my photo ID. I don't have any valid photo ID to get it. Even though they post the IRS, that's the Internal Revenue Service, they administer the tax stuff. They are putting a website. They're going to mail the stimulus check from 2021, 2022 to. They're going to mail it to everyone's address. So I went and got their mailing address and I gave it to them, but they told me no, I have to come to their office with my photo ID. So they're intentionally just blocking me because I don't have any photo ID at the moment. And I'm in from International Criminal Court, and I'm sure they have a pro se office for people like me that don't have a lawyer, and their pro se office could contact the United Nations or any other organization and refer my case to them to help me prepare my case and bring it to court. That's what any court's pro se office is supposed to do. So I'm appealing to you, International Criminal Court. I'm getting punched, I'm getting beat out. This is like a war crime this country's engaging in. My mother is dead after I sued the NYPD. I own daughters helped kill her. My friend Eric Garner that was helping me, and he was choked dead close to my birthday also. And it's my birthday today, July 8th. It's about July 8th right now. And they just hired some black Americans to punch it. But the one that saw running away from me was maybe black American. The camera will pick it up. So United Nations, International Criminal Court, you have to investigate this. They are beating us immigrants. My mother was a naturalized citizen, U.S. citizen from Nigeria. She's been killed here in Manhattan. My father has been killed also. Since I've been suing this NYPD. It's just death everywhere. So please, International Criminal Court, please refer my case to the United Nations so they can help investigate. The headquarters is in New York, and refer my case to other organizations also, so they can help me solve my case at the International Criminal Court, because I don't have a lawyer, and I don't even have a place to lay my head. I walk around with my belongings, so please, I would need legal assistance, and as a court, I'm sure you have pro se office. So please, the pro se office of the International Criminal Court, please help me refer this case to United Nations. I've been contacting United Nations also, they don't answer me. Their Office of Torture, so their headquarters here in New York, and that's not fair, because they help arrest people like Charles Taylor, who was a librarian that was getting his fellow blacks killed. So why should there be, impunity or immunity for black Americans to be attacking Africans here in America? My mother's daughters were born in America, and they killed my mother, who was born in Nigeria. So why should they said this New York, the police allow black on black killing? Unless you're a very famous, important person. That's the only way you stand a chance of getting justice as a black. So, but the police wouldn't investigate it. They allow blacks to kill each other like animals. So this is very serious.